And I woke up the next day, and I was just like, holy crap, did that really happen? Like, I mean, I remember it. And it was the weirdest thing. I woke up and I was on my bed and I was on top of my comforter, which was weird because I ever since I was a little kid, I don't like to be too exposed while I sleep. A lot of the weird things that happened to me were sort of like nighttime visitation stuff. So I've always been weird about that. And so I wake up, I'm on top of my comforter, and my comforter is pulled up all the way up to the pillow, which is where it would have been, or where it was, when I fell asleep, which is bizarre. And I, at that moment, I just sort of realized, I was like, wow, that really happened. That is a thing that happened to me. And yeah, so like I said, very similarly to this young woman in Janesville, like it felt like, I don't know what I was interrupting. I don't know what had been happening, like what had been happening directly prior to me waking up, or what would have happened if I hadn't woken up. But yeah, it felt like, I interrupted something, and that was enough for them to just abort whatever was happening and just lower me back to my to my bed, and that was just the end of it. So it seems like it seems like stuff like that happens. The whatever people are encountering, like it's not infallible. Like there is enough of these kinds of reports where I think that and this lends a little bit of credibility to it, at least to my opinion, because it just makes whatever these things are, whatever people are encountering, like whatever's interacting with them, it just makes them seem almost, human. Like they can make mistakes. Like they can be startled too. Like they don't always know what's going to happen. They can't predict everything. And every once in a while, something, goes wrong for them, and they get interrupted. So, take it for what you will, I guess. But it's definitely an interesting detail, I think.
I think so. And you just, when you sit and think about it, how many people have maybe had this experience, and you know what? They're scared to tell their spouse or their parents or whatever, because again, up to recently, let's go back 15 years ago. If you said, "Oh, I saw a UFO," people would look at you funny. Now, if you say, "Yeah, I saw a UFO," they go, "Well, tell me about it." I mean, things are changing because, you have to blame it on the internet because people can share this information. But these type of reports, there's so many of them. And that makes you, or at least makes me wonder, I really think, things are going on that we don't know about. And I think, this world is a lot of things we just don't understand.
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny sort of how I think my parents' attitude has sort of evolved regarding this kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, when I was a kid, they definitely wrote it off as, just a kid's imagination. Just, and it was a lot of what what you had said, basically, where it's just a dream, go back to sleep, whatever. It wasn't a dream. Like, none of the things that happened to me when I was a kid were just a dream. But, now that I do what I do as an adult, I think that they finally realized that there's something to it, and there's been something to it the whole time. Well, for instance, like it's funny. Emily and I, that's my wife, and she's my partner on the website too. We were just out in the Calamarain forest with our friend Jay. He's a Bigfoot investigator around here, and so we went out there because there's been all kinds of weird reported, phenomena. And so anyway, my parents saw that we had gone out there, and I was over for a visit last weekend, and my mom she was really, really interested. It's like she wanted to learn more about it, and she was like, "Well, what do you think it is? Like, do you think Bigfoot is a living animal? Just in undiscovered primates, or is there something else going on?" And that was just it was almost a surreal moment for me, because I had lived my whole life up until adulthood, really, relatively recently, frankly, without ever really talking about any stuff like this with my parents, and just generally having them dismiss it, and they really finally just kind of turned the corner. And we're like, okay, well, Tobias is 39 now. He's doing this. He's investigating paranormal stuff. Obviously, there's something to it, and it's something we should take seriously. And it's stuff like that. It's just those little things. It's those moments where you consider, hey, maybe I am making a difference. Even if it's just in the lives of my immediate family, even if it's just, helping inform the opinion of my own parents, that's something. It can be done. People can evolve in their understanding of these phenomena, and that's good, because that's part of what I want to do. I don't want people to have to be afraid to talk about stuff like this. I don't want people to be laughed out of every conversation where they bring this stuff up. I want people to be able to go to their friends and loved ones with, a seemingly impossible experience and be taken seriously, So seeing that I can have that kind of local effect, I think that there's room for hope. I think we can get there. And just like you were talking about, we've seen that even in mainstream media. And you're absolutely right. Looking about how, or looking at how people treat UFOs now versus even a decade ago, 2 decades ago. It's night and day. I mean, you've got the New York Times reporting on secret Pentagon UFO projects. Like that's something. Like that is a big step. So, it's a brave new world, honestly. And I think the future is probably pretty bright, as far as, paranormal investigation and hopefully people being at least willing to entertain a lot of these ideas is concerned, which obviously I think is great.
Well, there's so many things out there. I just can't believe, that we're the only, human type of life, humanoid type of life in existence. I just can't believe it, and I think there is so much more out there, and people are having encounters, and some people are scared to talk about it. I could imagine a man or a woman, maybe, being not molested, but experimented on occasionally. And who are they going to go tell? They're scared to say, hey, I think I'm being abducted every so often, or, something is strange. I talked to a guy here just recently that's going to be coming on the show. He swears he was abducted. He wears pajamas, okay? And he says, look, I've been wearing pajamas for 30 some odd years. I know how to put them on. I don't put them on backwards. And he goes, I had a funny, like a dream state, when he was sleeping. And then when he woke up, his pajamas, top and bottom, he said, were totally, backwards. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think it's a lot of things out there we can't, account for. And to judge people, and that's what the problem is. You give people closure because they can tell you and at least unload, something they're holding back. So you're helping people. You really are. And, like my encounter, what I had in 2002, what you've gone through, what, Karen has gone through. There's so many people who have seen weird things out there that, according to what you learned in school, never and could not be going on.
You're absolutely right about that. And thank you, honestly. Like it really means a lot to me, because I did get into this to help people. So, anything I can do, even if it's just lending a sympathetic ear, which, like you said, sometimes that's what people need. So, feels pretty good in this way.
Well, hey, our time is virtually gone. Again, tell people how they can get a hold of you. I mean, if they've had an encounter of a Mothman or a Bigfoot or some other cryptic type creature or whatever, or been abducted or anything, how do they get a hold of you, sir?
Well, you can find us at our website. So you want to go to singularfortean.com. You can email us at info@singularfortean.com. Or there is a contact page on our website. You can find the Singular Fortean Society on every social media platform, so anyone you can think of. If you forget, the Singular Fortean Society, Google Tobias Wayland. There may be one other Tobias Wayland in the world, but I don't know who he is. If you Google Tobias Wayland, you'll be able to find the Singular Fortean Society and all of our contact information and everything else. So that's how you want to go about it.
And can they find you on Facebook too?
Yeah, absolutely. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, all of the social media sites.
Oh, great. Well, Tobias, maybe you'll get a whole bunch more here in the next few days from people. I just find, like myself, doing this show that, how can I say it? It's part entertainment, it's part paranormal, it's part education, and I leave it up to the listeners to, make their own opinion. But there's so many things that is going on, and it seems like it's more going on now because people are not so scared to talk about it. And, like I get reports of Bigfoot all the time. I get reports of little people, shapeshifters and stuff like that. And these are coming from credible people. Again, back here about 5 months ago, I was going to have a sergeant from Oregon's biggest police department for a city. And he was going to come on my show, but then I guess maybe he gave it some thought or talked to his wife, and then he decided, his job means a lot to him. His credibility. But
sure.
Again, his story was he was down like in Tillamook, Oregon with his wife. They were going to go camping. This is like last year. And he, they were, whatever, off the side of the road, off a trail or whatever it was, he noticed two aliens. And they looked at him, and then he, motioned to his wife to look. She saw it, and then poof, they like disappeared. So,
wow.
And I found the guy very credible because I did call up and verify he was employed where he said he was. And so, I took what he said as probably true. And then, then right after that, the following week, Peter Davenport comes on our network for the Paranormal Lawyer Show and does about a half an hour, once a week about UFO sightings. But something he said started strange. People are starting to see aliens on the ground, and which he normally doesn't get those reports, but he's getting it all over the country, so it's something is going on.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it. I know on my end, I feel like the number of really strange reports that I've been getting from credible people has been on the rise. And, honestly, Gary, behind the scenes, a lot of the investigators that I work with, they've been saying the same thing. So you're not wrong. Something is definitely going on.
Yes, sir. Well, anyway, I want you to have a great weekend. Say hi to your wife for me. Tell her to go out and get some good pictures. And, we got to do this again here in about 2 months.
Yeah, definitely.